Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight is filmmaker Caden, Butera, actress Aubrey Shimek Davis, and Falk. How's it going, guys?
Going good. Great.
Really good.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I
see from the background that you're a man of taste with all your Star Wars posters.
Oh, heck yeah. Good. Besides horror, I love Star Wars. The original stuff, and the new stuff I like is Mandalorian. That's about it.
Hey, fair enough. It's kind of hit and miss these days, but I don't want to rile anyone up before we get started.
What I really want to know is, are they going to make a Star Wars horror movie?
I would love to see that, honestly.
I would love to see a horror Star Wars movie, too. You like with Dead Sith.
Yes. Yes. I would love that. They need to change it up. Yeah, absolutely.
And then we can get Falk in the film. He can be one of the evil dead Sith.
I would love that.
I'm game.
Yeah.
Somebody write that movie.
That's right. Now, I just recently saw your guys' horror short film, Western zombie film, Dead Men Ride Again. Oh, I'm so in. I mean, that just drew me in. Zombies, in the world of Western type of noir, I'm sold.
Sweet. Well, that was definitely the intention, is just mash two genres together with a little bit of adventure and character and make it exciting. So I'm glad that you're excited for it.
And I'm also looking forward to seeing it this weekend at the Horror Hound Film Festival in Cincinnati this weekend, where you'll be showing it with all the other talented indie filmmakers.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. This is actually going to be the world premiere, so to speak, for the short. This is the first place it's stopping. So we'll see if people love it or hate it,
So is this like the first film festival you're showing this film?
That's correct. Yeah, this is the first one it's going to be playing at, and then it has a few more to stop at afterwards. But this will be the first time the public is getting to see it. So
now let's go over to Aubrey. Aubrey, how'd you become part of this project playing Jesse?
I honestly don't remember. I think Caden called me up and said, I have an idea for a zombie western, and I'm completely honest with you. I am not a fan of horror. I'm not.
What?
But I read the script, I thought it was so good and so funny. And what I am a fan of is westerns. And so I was like, I love this character. I love the banter between Jesse and the postman. And so, yeah, that was how it was for me. Is I was like, oh yeah, no, this script, like let's do it. And then he told me like, oh, you've built a town, and I was like, oh my god,
that's how you got everybody, I think.
Yeah.
Wait a second, Caden, you built a western town for this short film?
That's correct. I basically brought every friend and favor I could cash in and a bunch of scrap wood and talented people, and made a little makeshift western town exclusively for this piece. I think a lot of people might assume, oh, these guys are cheating because they got access to a western town, but we built it exclusively for this project. It was a lot of hot, sweaty days in the middle of the summer, but we managed to put the last
and falling off of roofs.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, but it was a crazy ordeal, and we managed to put the last nail in the wood as we were shooting. No joke. Wow. So it was cutting it close.
So Falk, how'd you become part of this film and becoming the gunslinging the postman?
I also don't fully remember, but Kate and I have been working on a script. Right, we were working on recollection. What were we working on?
I think it was at the time it was called E equals, but yeah, it was
E equals, that's right.
Recollection.
But we wanted to shoot something, and Caden and I were like, let's shoot just anything. I'll come up and we'll do something. And he's like, well, I have this idea, zombie western. And I was like, yes, let's do that. And then, we just kind of started working on it together and had a lot of fun. I think we kind of like added the comedy element very early on, and that's when it got really, really exciting. And and very early on he said, I think I'm building a Western town. I was like, well, okay, I'll be there. Let me know when I'll be there.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it, yeah.
That's exciting. So this question goes out to Aubrey and Falk. When you did this Western, did you guys have to learn how to ride horses and master the steel?
I did. But no, Falk is wonderful with horses. I love horses. I just, I only rode them when I was little. And what was amazing is Caden actually brought in a horse and her trainer, the owner, and she taught me how to steer the horse with my leg. And that was such a magical thing for me to learn how to do, to just like physically respond. It was such a cool experience. And then my daughter got up with me, and Caden, I treasure these photos. Caden got some really daughter riding bareback on the horse. Oh, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And Scarlett the horse, she should be in this interview. She's fantastic.
Yeah, we tried to get her on. It didn't line up schedule-wise.
Do tell us about Scarlett the horse.
Oh,
Yes.
man, she was awesome. Actually, so I've worked a bunch with horses, and since then more. And I did train the gunslinging for this. My wife was highly pregnant. No, she wasn't highly pregnant. She was like 5 months.
Half pregnant.
And I was just, she was resting on the couch, and I was just gun twirling, and there was pillows all around the floor, because whenever I dropped, I had already broken one gun. So I was standing in the living room watching movies and just practicing the twirl, but I loved it. That was one of my favorite things I've gotten to do in a film.
So did you finally? Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Oh yeah, Falk. Did you finally get to master the gunslinging? Put it in real quick.
I don't know. I mean, as an actor, maybe. Like, I think master is a big word. No, definitely did not master it. But I got some very specific tricks down really, really well. I mean, not well enough to get it on the first take. I mean, I did get the movie magic a lot, and Caden just made it look cool. But yeah, no, it was fun, and I got to do some cool stuff.
And I'll say credit to both of these guys is at a certain point, when you're creating a short film, short films sometimes get a certain rep as far as, oh, well, it's just a short film. We don't have to, really put that much effort into it, or all the things that maybe you sometimes hear. But these two people, I was like, hey, and by the way, if you wanted to, no pressure, but there's going to be some horse riding and some gun twirling, and Aubrey for horse riding and Falk for gun twirling, decided to learn it for the production, which is not something I can always, expect from every actor, but their level of commitment should definitely receive some praise for that, because, we could have shot around, if Aubrey maybe didn't know how to ride a horse, but it wouldn't have been as cool, and we wouldn't have gotten as cool shots if it wasn't for Aubrey actually doing the thing on the horse. And same for Falk. We could have, done some extra movie magic to get around the fact that Falk doesn't know how to twirl a gun, but no, he freaking learned how to do it, and I was able to show it off so much more, and I think the film is better because of it.
Yeah, it looks like in the trailer that they were like pretty pros. And also in the trailer, there's a scene of Aubrey and Falk on a moving train. So certain scenes in the movie, did you guys do a little stunt work a little bit? Especially, it looked like you guys were really doing that on the train.
I'm glad that you asked. I'll let you guys take that one.
No, I mean, that was my favorite day. Ladies first.
That was my favorite day of all time, probably, because I didn't think it would work. And then when Caden showed me the playback, I was like, this is the most incredible thing I have ever seen in my life.
So basically, the train did not actually move. It was all using some strategic tricks of the trade with leaf blowers, shaking the camera a little bit, waving some like wheat in front of the lens to create the illusion that they're moving. And then if you were to see outside the camera, you're going to see Aubrey and Falk looking like really big idiots, moving their arms back and forth to sell those shots.
There is footage of your father running backwards in front of us with a leaf blower, and us doing exactly this, and then jump. We did have to jump for the train. That was like the stunt.
Yeah.
But
can
it was.
Get that from Kim. I need that footage because she has it on.
She has it. She has
Yeah.
it. I'll find it.
So funny.
Yeah, that was fun.
Gonna work, but he was like basically just big arms running in place. It's like the slowest running you've ever done, but you do really, really big arms. And then his friend Joe was crouching underneath the camera, wiggling, and we're all like tiptoeing towards the front of the train, and it looked amazing. Like,
Yeah, that was a fun day.
It made it look so lifelike. When I was watching the trailer, I was like, damn, that looks real, man. It looks like they're really having fun doing that. I hope they don't get hurt.
Good. That is so good to hear. And leaf blowers, really good actors, and a smoke machine can get you really
and a piece of blade of grass that you wipe in front of
that too. All the ingredients come together.
And a friend that will lie down in the dirt and do the grass for you.
Yes.
Yep.
All of those are crucial.
Now, let's talk about the zombie cowboys. Tell me a little bit about the special effects and the makeup on the zombies.
Yeah. So we had some really talented makeup artists involved. We had Tiana Filler, shout out to her, and then Trista Kelly. Both of them came on mostly because they were just really excited about the project itself and out of the kindness of their heart. And so they got to just goop everyone up and make everyone look dead and disgusting, and then try to make Falk look less dead and disgusting because he wasn't supposed to be a zombie. They failed in the end, but they tried their best. No, I kid. But that was really fun. And then props to Jerry Buxbaum, our SFX person, who was responsible for a lot of like the goop and the brains and
the movie ranch.
Yes, and that's where we shot the film itself, was on his property, and then and then all comes down together for the final VFX pass, which was done by our DP as well, Max Jordan. So a big collaborative effort again, just like everything in film. It's like 8 different things that all come together and kind of form that final shot.
Now, in the trailer, in the final shot, you see like one of the main zombies, like the villain, man. That was creepy looking how you zoomed in and did that pan shot of him.
Yeah, that was our buddy Tim Altivers on the horse, just looking like $1 million, looking with that big skeleton, and you'll see it in the teaser. He's got a big skeleton face, smoking a cigarette on a horse. I just thought that was some really fun imagery to combine, just like old tropes of horror zombie movies mixed with old Western tropes, and you mix them together and you get something new.
Now, Aubrey, tell me a little bit more about the character Jesse. How'd you portray that in the film for you? You're like in a unique way.
I think she's just always been kind of an extension of myself in one of the aspects of my personality that doesn't give a shit about anything.
Well said.
Aubrey doesn't give a shit.
You heard it first.
Hey, she looked badass in the trailer with that shotgun, man. She looked like she was a pro, that she knew how to use that shotgun when she was taking out those zombies.
Yeah.
Well, there's two people I can thank for that. The first one is Caden, because Caden actually drew a picture, like an illustration of Jesse,
shotgun?
what he of the shotgun, yeah. Aesthetically, what he wanted her to look like. And Caden is an excellent visual artist. Like his artwork is amazing, and so that helped a ton, getting the picture of what Jesse looks like in my head. But then also Jerry Buxbaum is amazing with educating his actors on guns and gun safety, and just making the actor feel very, very comfortable with whatever prop firearm they're working with. So that gun was a prop that, I got to train with, and yeah.
So Aubrey, did you give a name to the shotgun? Did you have a name for it?
That's a good question.
No, but if we make the feature, I'll find a name.
There you go.
Now, Falk, let's talk about the postman. Tell me a little bit about the postman in this film, this gunslinger.
Oh, the postman. The postman was, I said to Caden earlier today, I said it was like a workshop of the character, because we had written the script a certain way, and we were figuring things out as we were going, and I had to somehow justify these long curly locks, and and this very contemporary man in like a Wild West time, because he's very modern. He speaks very modern, and he's got morals that will put a Boy Scout to shame. So it's just really fun to place that person into the Wild West. And also, it was, to be honest, my first endeavor into comedy. And so there was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that was kind of fun and terrifying. To just play around, to be allowed, and Caden is wonderful with that, be allowed to be big, to be encouraged to try things, and to figure it out as you're going. And so it was like finding out who this guy is as we were shooting.
Caden, how was
terrifying.
Caden, how was the chemistry between Aubrey and Falk as, Jesse and, the postman? Did they have that great chemistry where they could like play off of each other?
I was going to make a joke and say, no, not at all. But to be honest, like, it really was undeniably so strong, at least in my humble opinion. I think that those two clicked immediately, because this was, I believe, that your guys' first time meeting all together, correct, for this project?
Yeah.
And so there was, some trepidation of like, oh, are these guys going to click? Because you never know. And then at the end of the day, you just got to kind of trust that the acting talent of the people that you've hired because you trust is going to work. And it did. In this case, I think that they were just hilarious to watch together on and off screen. And really, the movie doesn't work unless you kind of buy their dynamic. Unfortunately, I think you can tell that they're having a lot of fun on screen, and I think that translates.
Yeah, before we got on the podcast, I was talking with Aubrey about how, her and Falk, grew that friendship. They had that special bond.
Yeah, I think that's really important. When you can get close to someone on and off screen, I think it really does do a difference. And it's not necessarily required, but I think it just takes it that extra little level where you can tell you create a shorthand with people, and you also, at the end of the day, if the project fails or it doesn't work out or it wasn't a good time, at least you created an important connection.
So, Falk and Aubrey, I'm going to ask you this question. Is this like your first Western film you guys ever did? I mean, especially with horror in it?
Yeah, for me, yes.
I think so. This was my first Western, yeah.
And yours, Falk?
But I think I had done films where, and I love doing films where I don't have to look pretty. You know what I mean? Where I don't have to like look the ingenue sort of way, because I'm also getting older. I just want to throw my face and call it good. You know what I mean? Like
I think you failed then, because you look very pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same, but I know what you're getting at.
I know what you're.
You know,
I felt the same.
I love the roles where you can just be a tough chick that can kick it with the guys. Like that's the role I really like.
It's so funny, because this movie is the reverse, and this is part I'm going to add to, like, by Wyatt. Like, I was so used to playing the tough, cool, unshakable, just killed everybody, no problem guy. And I think I said this, right, Caden? I was like, I just want to do something different.
Yeah.
And to reverse those roles and have, it's really Aubrey's movie. Like, it's Jesse's movie in my mind, always has been. Like, she's the hero. And Wyatt is sort of the, Captain Jack Sparrow, or the bumbling idiot that is really beloved and wants to help. But
yeah,
it was nice to have those roles reversed and put him in that time,
And it's so fun to watch Falk, who I, as like a fan of his work, I've only really seen as, he fights frickin' Tom Cruise in Night and Day. And like, he's most of the time taking those sort of leading, like gruff and tough roles. So to see him really show off his comedic timing and, like, for lack of a better word, silliness in this character was really, really fun.
Now, every good film has a good score and music. So, who's composing your music in this film? Because I think a good composer that does it, it's part of the character of the film.
I'm glad you said that. You really teed it up. So my brother, actually, Rylan Butera, does the music for all of my projects, and I can't sing his praises enough, especially on this project. I gave him a pretty complicated task of writing a very, like, large, classically orchestral Hollywood sound. And when you watch the film, you'll hear, not only does he do that, but he tailors the music to sometimes hit on the beat of the gunshots, and he really adds a life and flavor to the project. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's a good shout out. And I'm just a fan of composing music. I mean, I'm a fan of cinematography too. I love cinematography shots in the film, especially pan shots in certain scenes. But I just love music in the films too. It just livens it up.
I'm so glad you said that. Yeah, I'm biased, but I think his music in this film is so strong and so fun, and you take away his music and the short loses a star of energy. It really requires that feeling that Ryan was able to emulate to bring it to where it is.
So this film, if it does good in the film festival circuit, since Whorehound's going to be the first place to show it, and I'll be there for the first time to see it too, so I can brag a little bit about it too.
Yeah.
Do you think about, if it does do good in the festival circuit, do you think about maybe making this as a feature film, or maybe doing a continuation into another short film, like maybe like a trilogy maybe?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Trilogy. I mean, that'd be super fun too. Yeah. The thought is if we ever get the luxury, and by luxury, I mean funding, I would love to turn this thing into a feature film. I think it'd be a blast. And that's kind of what this concept was a proof of concept for maybe something in a longer form with a longer, more fleshed out story would be an absolute blast.
Well, it should be. You built a town.
Right. I'd love to keep coming back to that town, maybe make it even bigger, flesh out a main street, and get more bells and whistles and keep shooting on that thing.
Yeah, and then see Jesse with more different weaponry, kicking ass and taking names and taking zombies out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to revisit the world, and it's just I think a really fun mash of genre and character that would be just really fun to explore deeper. Like Falk was kind of saying, the idea of a kind of contemporary man stuck in a time period where that's not necessarily common, mixed with a character like Jesse, who's just a free spirit who can't be chained down by anything, and forcing them to take part in an adventure together, I think lends itself to a lot of fun comedy.
Oh, I think so. And like I said, I'm really, like looking forward to it. Aubrey, when I was talking to you before the podcast, you're a big fan of Westerns. So what type of Western films do you like?
Well, my favorite Western of all time is Tombstone.
Nice.
And is that Kurt Russell?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. favorite of all time.
Yeah.
And classic Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday, where he goes around going, "I'll be your Huckleberry."
Classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of westerns. I also like Tombstone was good. I also like more of the spaghetti and Italian westerns. The violent, the better.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man.
Are you familiar with Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer?
Yes, I am.
You are? You're the first American I've met that knows them.
I do.
So happy.
I'm like I said, besides horror and action, I'm big into the Italian Western films. Yeah, I know who Terrence Hill and all of them. I've seen all kinds of great flicks, even the comedies like Trinity. The Trinity trilogy films were great. I love Django, Get Your Gun, everything, anything that Terrence Hill did in those. He looked like $1 million. I think he looked way better as an iconic cowboy than the Clint Eastwood cowboy.
He was pretty. If they had been English speaking, I think he would have taken the world. Guys, it's this. I think I showed it to you, Caden, but it's this blonde Italian, super blue eyes, like shining at night, blue eyes, super charming, stunts galore, and his partner is a 6'2", heavy set, full bearded, grumpy.
Yep.
Grumpy Italian.
That's
and
great.
It's always them in every film. There's like 40 films that are just the two of them. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like Falk said, he's a very handsome Italian man. I mean, if he learned how to speak English, I mean, he could have, did some American Westerns and just would have nailed it.
Yeah.
Another character I want to talk with Falk as well. I'm a big fan of the character. I read DC Comics and I've been reading since the 80s. And I've always been a fan of Carter Hall Hawkman, even from the Justice Society of America and his solo adventures. When I found out and saw you in the Arrowverse as Hawkman, how much fun did you have playing Hawkman, wearing the helmet, having the weaponry, and get to be a superhero and get to work with like Stephen Amell and all them?
It was super fun to wear the helmet. I loved the helmet. It was super fun to do the stunt, especially early on. There was a big accident that happened during shooting, not on our set, but on the Maze Runner 2, and that cut all of our flying wire work down. You weren't allowed to do certain heights anymore. But I got to do some really big heights in the wires in the first week. That was great. And yeah, the attempt to do something with a character that's iconic and that is just so rich in story was a really nice challenge.
I bet it was. I can tell you had fun working with all of them. Amell, Grant Gustin. I mean, all of them part of the Legends of Tomorrow, man. You must have been like a kid in the candy store.
I was having Grant Gustin was wonderful. I loved that was my favorite show to work on was The Flash.
Oh yeah, Flash was a great show. I got a chance to meet him and get a little interview with him. He's a very down to earth, nice, genuine guy.
Yes, and hilarious.
I bet he is. I mean, I've met Steven several times too. He's a cool dude too. So
yeah, they're all very nice people.
Yes. In this film, I haven't seen it yet since it's going to be zombies and a lot of shoot 'em up. Is there going to be like a little bit of blood and gore?
Yeah, you can definitely expect some violence. It's funny. The more violent something is, sometimes the harder and more expensive it is. So we were sometimes at the limit of, if you want someone's head to explode onto someone with lots of blood and goop, it is going to be, an hour of reset time where it's like, all right, let's fly out a new jacket and clean off the goop. Let's get makeup in. So like the more gore, the more complicated it gets, which is why I have such a respect for, those horror films that just go balls to the wall on their gore. So due to our kind of run and gun style of some of the shooting, we managed to get some gore in there, but not as much as say maybe the feature when we get to have more fun and more funds to have more people's heads explode, which I think every movie could have a good head explosion and for the better. But yeah, there's definitely some good gore in there, but not to the point where it's disturbing or really upsetting. It's more played for laughs, kind of comic book gore, if you will. So if that deters anyone on or off the project, that's kind of what to expect.
So Aubrey and Falk, how much fun did you have killing zombies?
Let me just make clear, my mother-in-law is watching something where somebody's screaming bloody murder. So.
Oh.
You guys are talking about gore and all that, and I just hear this. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh, is everyone okay?
Everybody's good.
Okay. Okay.
Aubrey, go ahead.
Oh, well, like I said, I don't do a lot of horror films, so for me, this is a really cool experience to see how you have to take one scene rather. So, like, we have all of the extras standing by, and they're like on the outskirts of this little cove in the woods that we've kind of carved out, and we all like take turns pulling like 2 or 3 zombies here or there, and then choreographing for one particular shot of like, okay, Aubrey's going to shoot zombie 1 and 2, and then Falk's going to shoot zombie 3, and then we filmed that, and then it's like, all right, now on to the next shot. Falk's going to take all 3 of these zombies, and Aubrey's going to stand by looking amazed. Okay, so it really was a really cool dance to watch being choreographed, which up to that point, I hadn't really done anything that required a lot of stunt work. I did a lot of theater stuff where I did like stunts and stuff. Yeah, it was really cool to also just have makeup standing by and see how that all gets applied. And then because there's an explosion. Can I talk about an explosion?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, go for it.
Oh, okay.
No, it's good.
Well, there's also going to be an explosion, and that was really cool because Jerry Bucksbaum, who owns the Mystery Ridge Movie Ranch, he has all of these amazing toys to perform movie magic. Like he even has like this giant cannon, basically. He even has like a rain machine. Like who has a rain machine? It's just like a giant hooked up to a hose, and like he shoots it hundreds of feet into the air, and it falls like rain. Like it's amazing. We didn't use that, but I've seen him use that, and it's incredible. But we used this like cannon thing that does like a really loud blast, and Jerry put down mats for me and Falk so we could react to the blast. So yeah, this I know it's kind of a detour from your question of like all of the blood and gore, but when it comes down to it, it's a very intricate process that's really fascinating to watch. For when you're seeing it on the big screen, you're not really thinking about like, oh, how do we get blood there? Like, how do we get all this blood? It's a really cool process to be behind the scenes and watch.
Thank you for sharing that. I like how you went to detail like that. That was pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that, Aubrey. That got me really interested in more seeing the film, this weekend at Whorehound. And I'll be probably sitting with Caden in the back, and we'll be just watching, see how the film goers think of it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, and then maybe I'll get some interviews with some of the people that watch it and get like a film reaction out of them, see what they thought of it too. So
that'd be great. I'd be very curious to hear what people are saying, because again, we've been able to share this around to some people who were a part of the project and some family friends, but this is the first time we're really getting to show people outside our kind of social bubble. So I'm really curious to know what people's thoughts are. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we'll do that. And, we'll do, Caden. I'll have you be the interview, and I'll hold my camera up, and we'll talk to some of the fans afterwards, and then I'll get a quick little interview of what I thought of the film, and that'd be kind of fun. Man.
Yeah, I'm totally down. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you need, man. I sounds like a blast.
Oh, it will. And then we'll tag, of course, Falk and Audrey in it so you can see the reactions and be like, yay.
Yeah, it's a blast. Yeah, I mean, and Falk, who's more accustomed to probably lots more explosions and action work, and like I said casually, Falk has, fought Tom Cruise in a movie, and then he's going to a bit of a lower budget, more intimate short film setting. I'm curious to know for you, Falk, how stark of a difference it was between the process that you're used to, the right way, so to speak, and then, playing around with us in the woods like a bunch of crazy people.
I mean, look, I love being able to like blow up the White House. If anybody's listening, that was out of context. I don't mean it. Yeah. We're talking about a movie here. I like those big sets and all that, but to be honest with you, running around in the woods with you guys and just figuring it out and kind of like getting to be more involved because it's more relaxed. And then seeing it on screen and going, yeah, I mean, that works just as well. Like the end result is like what really matters. Was really fun. I wish I got to ride more. And this was the first time I got to do comedy stunts. It's a big difference to, the explosion, for example, the back fall, to do it with as straight legs as you can. Looking again is try to look as stupid as you can while you do something versus trying to look as cool as you can. And I prefer looking as stupid as I can.
Yeah, it is. It's fun because when it comes to action choreography, and you obviously know more about this than I do, but there's so much that you try to do in a serious action movie that takes away the goofiness out of it. Like, if I throw this elbow here, it's going to make me look really awkward. But on a comedy set, you go, let's embrace that awkwardness. In fact, how about I do that even more? You can...
Yeah, you run back to the camera and you go, did I look stupid enough? It's like, no, be more stupid, It's like...
Yeah, it's really fun. And comedy sometimes opens a door for more freedom in some regards.
I think so, yeah.
So, Falk,
I think it's
do you see you doing more short films?
For me, it's honestly always about the material and the filmmakers. I think if the story is fun, if it's experimental and you're getting to know people, like this was this our first thing that we shot together, Caden?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first thing we got to work together, and I'd seen his work, but I wanted to do something with him. So yeah, I think I'm open to anything,
That's pretty cool. Audrey, since you weren't really big into horror, do you see yourself doing another indie horror film?
I see myself doing another one of Caden's films.
Oh, thank you.
There are certain people where it's like I will, life circumstances aside, like I will never say no to working with Caden or Falk, like given any opportunity. Because I also trust tastes. Like if they're going to come to me with something that's horror, I know that story will be at the forefront of it. Like it won't just be gratuitous, blood and gore, which is why I don't really like horror. Is a lot of the time that the story is sacrificed for, the blood and gore aspect of it. And that doesn't really interest me. I'm interested in characters. I'm interested in stories. I'm interested in relationships. So if a horror film has more of that than the gore, then yeah, I'll look at it.
I think it's very interesting that a lot of genre pieces often have the defining attribute of its genre can sometimes be its largest detriment. And that goes for action movies and musicals, and horror is the equivalent for a musical is let's have the story stop to do a song and dance number, versus the best musicals can have the story through the song and dance number and can continue the story. And same with an action movie. The best action movies, in my opinion, are ones where when we don't stop the story to have a 5-minute fight scene, the story continues through this 5-minute fight scene where we're storytelling the whole time. And I think that is the definition of a good genre piece, is you can hit all of those moments and the things that, like, you come for the blood and gore, but you hopefully stay for the story and the characters. And I think you can have both. They're not interchangeable, but oftentimes they can be. And so we strive to, blend story, character, and whatever the tropes people are expecting all into one. If that makes sense.
I totally agree with you on that. I think the same way when I watch certain films as well. So, so what are you guys' next projects, and where can everybody find you guys on social media to see what you guys are doing next?
The dreaded question.
The dreaded question.
Well, for actors, I don't know about you, Caden, but I'll just explain on this. Like, that's the question where you always go, oh shit, what do I have next? Do I have something next? Well, I through the pandemic and right around when I met Caden, I've switched a lot over to producing and helping other filmmakers and just kind of like wanting to find stories that I'm really passionate about. So for me, I'm working on a way to find money to make Dead Men Ride for Caden. I would love to see him make a feature. That's one thing, and some other independent stories that really excite me and that I'm excited to try to put together outside of the Hollywood system, because it's just so much fun. I mean, the three of us here are a really tight-knit group, and
awesome.
I will echo what Aubrey said. Like, anything Caden makes, I will always be a part of if he has me, because it's fun. You know, it's that unbridled passion about let's just make something and really enjoy it. Like, Caden, I always tell you this, but I've worked with Oscar winners. I've worked all across the board, but like the fun that you have with your actors, the ease that you have with your actors, the kindness that you have, and your talent on top of that, it's like unrivaled. So,
thank you. That's high praise. I appreciate it.
And likewise for you, Aubrey. I mean, you were so lovely, so open, so easy to work with, so wonderful. I just, I've been messing around with some of the edits for Pitch Deck that Kate and I are putting together. You're so captivating. You're really a star. I'm like, give this girl a big movie. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's mesmerizing. She's wonderful. And so I'd love to work with these two again in any capacity. Even as a janitor.
Thanks, Falk.
Falk just has this ability, like, even when we're in, but Falk has this ability to, like, drive me to tears. I don't know what it is. I cry in front of this man all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Falk is also guilty of making me a little teary-eyed behind the monitor sometimes.
Well, better or worse.
Yeah, because of how bad he's doing. I'm just like, oh man, we're never gonna get it.
He's ruining my film.
Not exactly what I meant, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know you guys that well, but listen to you guys and how close you are. You're kind of giving me a little tear in my eye.
Look at that. That's great. And Aubrey, what about for yourself? What do you have coming up?
Oh, I agree with you, Falk. It's always the dreaded question. I'm making it up, okay? I'm doing monologues for my children. I read my children's stories.
Yeah.
I gotta put my kid to bed. That's what I'm doing tonight.
Excuse me. I perform every day for my children, okay? Ask me to read a Good Night construction site book. I will read it with Brooklyn accent, okay?
You're reading that to Leo. Good Night construction site.
Isn't it? I love them. I love them so much. But in all seriousness, I'm doing 2 indie films here in Spokane. One is called War Journal with Jack Gomez, and we'll be shooting that at the Mystery Ridge Movie Ranch. And it's a short, and I'm very, very excited about it. Jack Gomez is a very collaborative spirit, so I've been able to have a lot of talks with him about character and development and story, and it's wonderful. And then there's another film in town called The Real Rat, and it's a basketball film.
Nice.
And I know nothing about ball, but I play the financial, so I'm good there. My background.
Nice.
Good. Yeah. So.
I've been told a lot of financial advisors don't know a lot about basketball either, so it's going to work out.
Perfect.
Caden, what about you? You got some stuff coming?
Yeah, so I guess the largest thing is we've been working on a feature called Recollection, which we kind of briefly touched on earlier. It's a sci-fi thriller. It's full length, and it stars Falk, and also Aubrey's in there as well as our lead, Rosalind Luke, and Eric Roberts is in it for a moment. Lots of exciting people in that one. And that one's the one I've been basically just slaving away for a couple years now. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I finally got a chance to shoot it over a year ago now, and so we're in the final stages of getting the edit locked in so we can move it on to VFX and color and all that fun stuff. So and shameless plug here, if you want to follow Recollection, it's got an Instagram, so Recollection_movie, I believe, is the handle for that one. If anyone's interested in seeing that and seeing Falk really drive home a really hardcore performance, that was a fun one.
You got me sold on sci-fi. I'll definitely go see that, and I'll definitely have you guys on again.
Yeah, man, I'd love to. Sorry.
Another plug. Caden's got a European premiere as well with his first feature film, Swap Me Baby, that we did together, that I produced and starred with my wife.
That's right.
Kimberly Lehman.
Yeah.
That's coming out in the UK, I think, in the next month or so.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, that was another crazy one where after shooting Dead Men, Falk was crazy enough to say, hey, do you want to help direct the movie I'm producing? And I kind of blindly went, yes, because at a certain point you start to trust the people that you develop relationships with. So without knowing too much about it, I jumped in full force and directed a weird body swap, crazy rated R film in the middle of the pandemic, basically, with Falk and his wife Kim, who's also in Recollection. Shout out to her. And it was just a crazy weird time. And that's coming out in a month in the UK, which is awesome.
You guys, thank you so much for coming out of your busy schedule to have a blast with me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a
Thanks
great time.
for having us. Yeah, this was wonderful.
Yeah, I'll definitely have you guys on in the near future too. I'm dying to see what Falk and Caden and of course you, Aubrey, what you're going to do next. Like I said, I love to support indie filmmaking and artists and all that, and
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a strong supporter of that, and of course the independent film community too. So I've met a lot of friends through the community. But yeah, and Caden, I will also see you this weekend where you can see Dead Men Ride Again at Whorehound Film Festival in Cincinnati.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'm looking forward to meeting you. Too bad Falk and Audrey, you couldn't came to a fun show.
Too bad. I'll be tweeting them the updates the whole time. So. Oh,
that's cool. and then you'll be seeing some video I'll do, which I'll tell you guys, and you'll be like, yay.
Yeah, we'll make them feel like they're there.
I want you to FaceTime me.
I certainly could, yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be cool. But anyways,
I'll
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll Instagram live it from my pocket like what Mark Ruffalo did in the Thor 3 premiere.
Hey, why not? Whatever works, right? But
yeah, whatever it takes.
Yes. But like I said, thank you so much. You guys have a great week, and everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have a great evening.